الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله أستعينه واستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة من يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد ومن يعصهما فإنه لا يضر إلا نفسه ولا يضر الله شيئا أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربي زدني علما سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم. My dear audiences and my dear friends, brothers and sisters and well-wishers who are watching through Facebook, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. At the very beginning, I express my deep gratitude and thanks to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has given us opportunity to attend this Tafsirul Qur'an Mahfil, and for this reason let us say Alhamdulillah, all praises are for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In today's Tafsirul Qur'an Mahfil, inshallah, we shall have a discussion on verse number 1 to 5 of Suratul Zumuah. As usual, at first we shall have recitation and meaning of these verses, and then inshallah we shall go to the elaborate discussions of these ayats, verses. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يسبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض الملك القدوس العزيز الحكيم هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا بئس مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآيات الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين صدق الله العلي العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك. I seek refuge, I seek shelter to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the accursed devil, from the accursed shaitan, and I am beginning with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who is most beneficent, most merciful. Yusabbihu lillahi ma fi samawati wa ma fil ard. Everything, either on the skies or on the earth, are praising, declaring glory of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the owner of everything, who is pure, who is powerful, and who is all-wise. هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته. And he has sent a messenger to them from their own community who used to recite the verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to them in order to وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ, in order to purify them. وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ, and the messenger recites the Qur'an to them in order to teach them knowledge and wisdom. وَإِن كَانُوا مِن قَبْلُ لَفِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. Moreover, earlier most of them were misguided. Most of them were in darkness. وَآخَرِينَ مِنْهُمْ لَمَّا يَلْحَقُوا بِهِمْ. And though who have not yet accepted Islam, they were also in darkness. وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is most powerful, most wise. ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِيهِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. And these blessings is from Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, gives him whoever he likes. وَاللَّهُ ذُو الْفَضْلِ الْعَظِيمِ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used to bless people most. مَثَلُ الَّذِينَ حُمِّلُوا التَّوْرَاةَ ثُمَّ لَمْ يَحْمِلُوهَا كَمَثَلِ الْحِمَارِ يَحْمِلُ أَسْفَارًا. And the example to whom the Old Testament before Bible, that means Taurat were given, their example is as like as the donkey, as the ass, who used to carry books, but he does not know what is on his back. بِئْسَ مَثَلُ الْقَوْمِ الَّذِينَ كَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِ اللَّهِ. And he is most notorious, he is more notorious, who used to deny the verses, revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَاللَّهُ لَا يَهْدِي الْقَوْمَ الظَّالِمِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not guide the unjust people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said the truth, and his prophets and messengers have also said the truth. And we are among the witnesses. All praises are for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All praises are for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the greatest. O Allah, bless our Prophet and your servant Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So, this was the recitation as well as meaning of verse number 1 to 5, ayat number 1 to 5 of Suratul Zumuah. Suratul Zumuah, it is surah number 62 from the Holy Qur'an. And this surah was revealed upon our prophets during his prophetic life in Medina. While our prophet had been living in Medina, at that time this surah has been revealed. In the first verse, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has stated, in many surah, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has stated that everything, either in the sky or on the earth, everything used to declare glory, declare praise of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in the next ayat, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, here we find a guideline. We know that our Prophet, our beloved Prophet, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was the last messenger and prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not send any prophet or messengers. But the work of dawah, work of invitation to oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will go on, will continue on. We, the ummah, we the members of this ummah, we are very much lucky and we are very much fortunate, because earlier Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used to send prophets and messengers for inviting people towards the oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That means inviting people towards the oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was the job of prophets and messengers. But we, the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we are very much fortunate. We have got the responsibility, duty to invite people towards the oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because our prophet was the last prophet and messenger, and since no prophet and messenger will come after him, we, the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, will invite people towards the oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, towards the Tawheed. What is Tawheed? Tawheed means imanun bi ilahi wahid, keeping belief, bringing iman on one creator. So now we shall do the job of inviting people towards the oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, towards the Tawheed, towards the Islam. How shall we invite people towards Islam? Here in verse number 2 of Suratul Zumuah, we find a guideline. And what is the guideline? Guideline is that هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم. That means earlier prophets and messengers used to invite people towards the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, towards the way of Tawheed, by reciting the books of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And by reciting books of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, earlier prophets and messengers used to invite people towards the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And our prophet, our beloved prophet, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, used to invite people towards the Islam, towards the Tawheed, by reciting from the Holy Quran. So here we are getting a guideline that we shall also invite people towards Islam. We shall also ask people to come to the way of oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by reciting from the Holy Qur'an. And by reciting Holy Qur'an, earlier prophets and messengers, even our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, asked them towards the Quran, invited them towards the Quran, and yuzakkihim, and he purified them. And وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ, and he used to teach people books and wisdom. So nowadays, if we the people, we the ummah of Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam want to do dawah, want to invite people towards Tawheed, towards Islam, we shall also invite them by reciting this Holy Quran. By reciting this Holy Quran, we shall also invite them towards the Islam. And here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in verse number 5 has given an example. Nowadays we the Muslims have forgotten one thing, that knowing meaning and explanation of Quran is mandatory, obligatory to each and every Muslim. There is a well-known Sahih hadith. Most of us know this hadith. Talabul ilmi faridatun ala kulli Muslim. Earning knowledge of Islam, acquiring knowledge of Quran and Hadith is obligatory to each and every Muslim, either male or female. But nowadays, we the Muslims have made this Quran only for khatam. That means finishing, mere recitation. We only recite this Holy Quran and finish the Holy Quran. That is called in khatam. This Quran has not been revealed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only for recitation, only for finishing the same by recitation. Only for mere recitation, this Quran has not been revealed. This Quran is the book which lead us. How shall we lead our personal life? How shall we lead our family life? How shall we lead our social life? How shall we lead our state life? In all respect of our lives, this Quran gives us guidelines. And if we do not know the meaning and explanation of this, of the Holy Quran, how shall we implement the rules and regulations of Quran in our personal life, in our family life, in our social life, as well as in our state life? Being a Muslim, we must believe that Quran has been revealed to regulate our all spheres of life, in all the fields of our life. This Quran gives us direction. And we the Muslims are bound, it is obligatory to the Muslims, it is mandatory to the Muslims to implement the rules and regulations of Quran in our personal life, in our social life, in our family life, as well as in our state life. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given an example of Jews. We used to call them Yehudi. In order to guide the Jews, Yehudi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent hundreds, thousands of prophets and messengers. And among them, the name of Hazrat Musa alayhi salam is known by every one of us. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed Tawrat. Tawrat, the Old Testament of Bible. Tawrat, that is the Old Testament of Bible. Tawrat was revealed upon the Jews, upon the Yehudis, through Hazrat Musa alayhi salam to guide their lives. But the Jews, the members of Jews, did not follow the rules and regulations of Tawrat. And it is known to us by going through the many tafsir of Holy Qur'an. Jews were a very greedy community. Earning money was their only aim. They liked to earn money by hook or crook. In order to earn money, they make amendment, they made changes in the Holy Quran, in the Holy Tawrat, the Old Testament of Bible. And they did not follow the rules and regulations given in the Tawrat, the Old Testament of Bible. And for that reason, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has compared them with the donkey, with the ass, because a donkey and ass used to carry load, used to carry goods on his back. He does not know what is on his back, but he used to carry. So the members of Jews who did not follow the Old Testament of Bible, who did not follow the rules and regulations of Tawrat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has compared them with the donkey, with the ass. And in the next portion of verse number 5, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said strongly, بِئْسَ مَثَلُ الْقَوْمِ الَّذِينَ كَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِ اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ لَا يَهْدِي الْقَوْمَ الظَّالِمِينَ. The members of Quraysh, Arabs, who were not accepting Qur'an, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that they are more notorious than the Jews. So, in today's tafsir, at first we shall go with some relevant other verses from the Holy Quran. Those are relevant in today's tafsirs. First verse is verse number 129 of Suratul Baqarah. In verse number 129, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, رَبَّنَا وَابْعَثْ فِيهِمْ رَسُولًا مِّنْهُمْ يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِكَ وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ. I was at the very beginning of my tafsir, I said that the job of prophets and messengers were to invite people towards the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, towards the oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, towards the Tawheed, by reciting books of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And here in verse number 129 of Suratul Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has stated, while Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam and his son Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam were constructing the wall of Baitullah, they made some prayers to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Among their prayers, one of the prayer was that Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam and Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send a messenger from their heirs who will recite the books of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and who will teach them books and wisdom, and who will purify them by reciting the books of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, in Tafsir it has come that since Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam and his son Hazrat Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send a messenger from their community who will go through the books of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and invite people towards the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And their prayer was accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and as per their prayer, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent the last messenger, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the community of Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam. So here also we find one thing, that guideline of doing dawah, guideline of inviting people towards the way of Islam is by reciting books of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We shall invite people to the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In today's tafsir, next relevant verse is verse number 19 of Suratul Imran. Verse number 19, Suratul Imran is very much relevant in today's tafsir. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Inna ad-deena 'inda Allahi al-Islam wa ma ikhtalafa alladhina utul kitaba illa min ba'di ma ja'ahumul ilmu baghyan bainahum wa man yakfur bi ayati Allahi fa inna Allaha sari'ul hisab. Verse number 19. First portion, by revealing first portion of verse number 19, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has clear one thing, Inna ad-deena 'inda Allahi al-Islam. Nowadays, in the world, there are so many religions. Suppose we are the Muslims, we are the followers of Islam, and others are Christians, Jews, Buddhist, Hindu, someone used to worship trees, someone used to worship hill, someone used to worship the sun, the moon. And by revealing this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has banned all the religion. Inna ad-deena 'inda Allahi al-Islam. The only religion nominated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Islam. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the next portion of this ayat, in the next portion of the verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has stated the circumstances, the reason why the Jews, why the Christians are not accepting Islam. وَمَا اخْتَلَفَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ إِلَّا مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَهُمُ الْعِلْمُ بَغْيًا بَيْنَهُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that Injil was revealed on Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. And in Injil, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has clearly said that last prophet, our beloved prophet Hazrat Muhammad will come, and Qur'an will be revealed on him. It has been categorically stated in Injil. So the Christians know it, but they do not accept Islam. Why? Out of envy, out of jealous. The Jews, Taurat, the Old Testament of Bible, Taurat. In Taurat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the description of sending our beloved prophet, Hazrat Muhammad, and revealing Qur'an. So the Jews also know it. Yehudi also know it. But they are not, although they have got the evidence from their revelation, that is from the Bible, from the Torah, but out of envy, out of jealous, they used to deny Islam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in the next portion of this verse, وَمَنْ يَكْفُرْ بِآيَاتِ اللَّهِ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ سَرِيعُ الْحِسَابِ. Oh, the people of this world, either Christians, either Jews, either Hindus, either Buddhist, or of any other religion, you are not accepting Islam. Remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very swift in taking accounts. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very swift in reckoning. Because one day you will meet death and you will reach to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take your accounts immediately, swiftly, without making any delay. Now, so this was verse number 19 of Suratul Al Imran, relevant in today's tafsir, and our next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 138. At very beginning of my tafsir, I categorically stated that Qur'an has been revealed to follow the rules and regulations of Qur'an in our personal life, in our social life, in our family life, in our state life. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given in verse number 138 of Suratul Al Imran the definition of Qur'an. What is Qur'an? Verse number 138, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, هَذَا بَيَانٌ لِلنَّاسِ وَهُدًى وَمَوْعِظَةٌ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. هَذَا, that means this Qur'an, is بَيَانٌ لِلنَّاسِ, clear description for human being, and guidance, and advices for the pious people, for the righteous people. That means I have already said, this Quran gives us guidelines to lead our personal life, to lead our family life, to lead our social life, to lead our state life. So this was verse number 138 of Suratul Al Imran. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 155 of Suratul An'am. In verse number 155, Suratul An'am, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has also given a description, a definition of Quran here. وَهَذَا كِتَابٌ أَنزَلْنَاهُ مُبَارَكٌ فَاتَّبِعُوهُ وَاتَّقُوا لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. And this book, this Quran, has been revealed through blessings, and it gives us, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us to follow this. فَاتَّبِعُوهُ, you follow the Quran. وَاتَّقُوا, and fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as He should be feared. لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. If you follow the Quran and fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless you. Next, this was verse number 155, Suratul An'am. Our next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 179, Suratul A'raf. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَلَقَدْ ذَرَعْنَا لِجَهَنَّمَ كَثِيرًا مِنَ الْجِنِّ وَالْإِنسِ لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ بِهَا وَلَهُمْ أَعْيُنٌ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ بِهَا وَلَهُمْ آذَانٌ لَا يَسْمَعُونَ بِهَا أُولَئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ بَلْ هُمْ أَضَلُّ أُولَئِكَ هُمُ الْغَافِلُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that the human beings and jinns who are not following the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who are not accepting Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying them that I have created you to throw you in Jahannam, in hell. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in next portion of this verse that those who are not accepting Quran as our guideline, who are not entering, who are not accepting rules and regulations of Qur'an. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that lahum qulubul la yafqahun biha. They have heart, but they do not understand. Qalbun means one heart. Qulubun means hearts. It is the plural number, joma. So those who do not accept Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has compared them, they have heart, but their heart does not understand. وَلَهُمْ أَعْيُونٌ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ بِهَا. They have eyes, but they do not see it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has compared them here as blind. وَلَهُمْ آذَانٌ لَا يَسْمَعُونَ بِهَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that those who hear but does not follow Quran, they are as they are not hearing. They cannot hear. Ulaika kal an'am. Now in the next portion, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said very strongly, Ulaika kal an'ami bal hum adallu. Those who are not accepting invitation of Islam, who are not accepting rules and regulations of Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has compared them with four-footed animal. An'am, four-footed animal. Can we remember? Can we imagine that those people in the world who have not accepted Islam yet, they are as the four-footed animal. Balhum adallu, more than four-footed animal. They are so misguided that they are more than the four-footed animal. Ulaika humul ghafilun, and they are careless. Now in our surroundings, we find that many people, their name is Abdul Rahim, Abdul Karim, but they do not offer 5 times prayer. They do not keep fast. They do not pay in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They do not pay zakat. Although they are Muslims, but they do not follow the rules and regulations of Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has compared them with the four-footed animal. More than four-footed animal. They are so careless. So, it is very strongly, it is very much required to think that in the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has termed the people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has compared the people with four-footed animal who do not follow the rules and regulations of Islam, rules and regulations of Quran. Our next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 19 from Suratul Rod. Suratul Rod, verse number 19. أَفَمَنْ يَعْلَمُ أَنَّمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ مِنْ رَبِّكَ الْحَقُّ مِنْ رَبِّكَ الْحَقُّ كَمَنْ هُوَ أَعْمَى إِنَّمَا يَتَذَكَّرُ أُولُو الْأَلْبَابِ. I earlier said that Allah subhanahu, those who do not follow the rules and regulations of Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has compared them with the blind men. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has more clearly said that those who follow the rules and regulations of books of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, are they and the blind are same? That means those who follows the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has termed them people with eyes, and those who do not follow the rules and regulations of Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has termed them human being without eyes, blind. And in here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has praised those people who accept Islam, who follows rules and regulations of Islam. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has termed them, innama yatazakkaru ulul albab. Only the wise people used to follow the advices. That means only the wise people used to follow Qur'an. So, Qur'an, the last testament of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the last book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the last, we say, Asmani Kitab. It is the last book. It is the last revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one thing we must remember, that this book is written by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the writer of this book. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the author of this book. And you will find whenever a writer used to write a book, in introduction, in preamble, they say that there might be some mistakes in my book, and please forgive my mistakes. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in verse number 1 and 2 of Suratul Baqarah saying, Alif Lam Mim Zalikal Kitabu La Raiba Fi Hudal Lil Muttaqin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the introduction, preamble of Quran, saying that there is no mistake here. There is no mistake here in this book. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself is the author of this book. There is no doubt in this book. And about 1500 years ago, this book was revealed. And you will be astonished to know that this book, there is no change in this book. About 1005 years ago, 1500 years ago, that is 1500 years ago, this Quran was revealed. And for the last 1500 years, this Quran is as it is. There is no change, there is no manipulation, there is no differ in Quran. It has been revealed as it is upon our beloved Prophet, and it is still as it is. And the Quran will remain as it is till the day of Qiyamah. Because in verse number 9, Suratul Hijr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has clearly declared, Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafizun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in verse number 9, Suratul Hijr, that I have revealed this Quran and I am the protector of this Quran. Allahu Akbar. For the last 1500 years, there is no change. There is no difference in Quran. This Quran was as it is 1500 years ago. And it is still now as it is. Why? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the guarantee that Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafizun. I have revealed the Quran and I am the protector of this Quran. So being a Muslim, we should feel proud that we follow the book which has been written by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself is the author of this book, which is followed by us. So, now inshallah we shall go with some relevant hadith with today's tafsir. First two hadith is regarding Suratul Jumuah. Jumuah means Friday. Today is Friday, and today we are discussing from verse number 1 to 5 of Suratul Jumuah. So, two hadith is regarding Suratul Jumu'ah. An Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam khayru yawmin tala'at alayhi shamsu yawmal jumu'ah fiha khulika Adamu wa fiha udkhila al-jannata wa fiha ukhrija minha wala taqumu as-sa'atu illa fil jumu'ati. Rawahu Muslim. This hadith has been narrated by Hazrat Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu, the famous companion of our beloved Prophet. He said that our beloved Prophet has said, Friday is the best day among all the days. We know there are 7 days in a week. Among the 7 days, Friday is the best day. And we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has selected this day for the Muslims. And on this day, fihi khulika Adamu. On this day, Hazrat Adam alayhi salam was created. On this day. Wa udkhila al-jannata. And on this day, he was entered in the Jannah, in the heaven. Wa fihi ukhrija minha. And on this day, he was also brought out from Jannah, from heaven. وَلَا تَقُمُ السَّاعَةُ إِلَّا فِي الْجُمْعَةِ. There is a time on Friday, whenever, if we make any prayer, that prayer will be accepted. Allahu Akbar. Rawahu Muslim. So, there is a time on Friday, when, if we pray anything, that prayer will be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rawahu Muslim. An Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam inna fil jumu'ati lisa'atun la yuwaffiquha abdul muslim yas'alullahu fiha khairan illa a'tahu iyyahu. Muttafaqun alayhi. This is the same hadith, that on Friday there is a time when a Muslim prays anything to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that prayer is accepted. And next hadith is that An Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam idha salla ahadukumul jum'ata fayusalli ba'daha arba'an. Rawahu Muslim. Suppose we used to, after offering 2 rakat, 2 units of Jummah prayer, we know there are 2 units in Jummah prayer. And in this hadith, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our beloved Prophet has said, after completing 2 units of Jummah prayer, that is, which is obligatory, you offer 4 units Badal Jummah. That means, after Jummah prayer, we should offer 4 units prayer, which is Sunnat Muakkada. Rawahu Muslim. So most of us sometimes come out from the mosque after completing 2 units of Jummah prayer. But now, since we have learnt now that after completing 2 units of Jummah prayer, we shall offer 4 units of prayer, that is called Badal Jum'ah. Our beloved Prophet said, "Iza salla ahadakumul jum'ata fayusalli ba'daha arba'an." Rawahu Muslim. So now, after completing 2 units of Jummah prayer, we shall offer 4 units of Badal Jummah prayer, inshallah. Now, hadith is related regarding the Qur'an. Since today we are discussing from Qur'an. And Uthman radhiyallahu anhu عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال خيركم من تعلم القرآن وعلمه رواه البخاري الترمذي النسائي Abu Dawud. In 4 famous book of hadith, this hadith has been narrated. Our famous companion, the third Khalifa, Hazrat Usman radhiyallahu anhu, has narrated this hadith. Our beloved Prophet has said, خَيْرُكُمْ مَنْ تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنَ وَعَلَّمَهُ. Among you, he is the best who learn Quran and teach people Quran. Learning Quran and teaching Quran to the people is the best job. Rawahu Bukhari, Tirmizi, Nasai, Abu Dawud. An Ibn Abbas radhiyallahu anhu, An-Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam qala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Inna alladhi laysa fi jawfihi shay'un min al-Qur'an kal baytul kharb. Rawahu Tirmizi. Hazrat Ibn Abbas has narrated this hadith. He said that our beloved Prophet has said, in whose heart there is no Quran is the house of devil. If in our heart we do not bear the teachings of Islam, teachings of Quran, it will be as like as the house of devil. Baitul Kharb, house of misdeeds, house of evil. Rawahu Tirmizi. An Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu qala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, laysa minna man lam yataghanna bil Qur'an. Rawahu Bukhari. This hadith has been narrated by Hazrat Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu. He said that who do not recite Quran correctly, he is not among us. Reciting Quran correctly is mandatory, is obligatory to each and every Muslims. Rawahul Bukhari. You may imagine, we may think that recitation Quran in a proper way, recitation Quran correctly, rightly is obligatory, mandatory to each and every Muslims. And if we do not do this, we will be out of this ummah. Our beloved Prophet has said, he is not among us. That means he is not the members of Ummah Muhammadi. So, in order to become the members of Ummah Muhammadi, we must try, we must take initiative to learn how to recite Quran in a proper way, how to recite Quran properly, correctly. And last hadith in today's tafsir is An Ali radhiyallahu anhu qala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Man qara al-Qur'ana fastazharahu فأهل حلاله وحرم حرامه أدخله الجنة. رواه الترمذي. Our fourth Khalifa, Hazrat Ali radhiyallahu anhu, has narrated this hadith. He said that our beloved Prophet has said, whoever recites Quran and follow and accept those which are allowed and restrain which are forbidden, he will enter in the Jannah, in the heaven. That means if we recite Quran and if we follow the rules and regulations of Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will enter us in the heaven. And we know, being a Muslim, it is our main target to achieve success in the life of hereafter, to enter in the heaven. It is our main target, being a Muslim. And here, through this hadith, our beloved Prophet has said, whoever will recite Quran and whoever will follow the rules and regulations of Qur'an, that means whoever will do the allowed legal things, who will lead his life legally and restrain his life from illegal deeds, he will be admitted in the paradise, in the heaven. So may Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us capacity, ability to go through the Quran, to recite Quran, to understand the meaning and explanation of the Quran, and to implement the rules and regulations of Quran in our personal life, in our social life, in our family life, and as well as in our state life. Now inshallah we shall offer prayer to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and before offering prayer, let us recite Durud Sharif. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم آمين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم اللهم اغفر لحينا وميتنا وشاهدنا وغائبنا وصغيرنا وكبيرنا وذكرنا وأنثانا اللهم من أحييته منا فأحيه على الإسلام ومن توفيته منا فتوفه على الإيمان ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا رب هب لي من الصالحين رب زدني علما أستغفر الله اللهم إني أسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. Oh Allah, we, some of your servants, have been gathered in Tafsirul Quran Mahfil. We have discussed from your holy book, Holy Quran. We have made many mistakes. Please forgive our all mistakes and accept this Tafsirul Quran Mahfil. Please forgive our all sins. Please increase our sustenance. There are so many desires in our heart. Please accept our all good desires. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم.